Now, was that Roger Taylor's falsetto or was it a guitar? I have no idea, but let's try to find out. What's up, everybody? My name is Mark. I'm a singing student, I think, so let's analyze Somebody to Love by Queen, focusing on Freddie's vocals. Even if Queen did not perform this part of the song in live performances, Somebody to Love starts with a very interesting introduction section full of harmonies. In the ending of this introduction, there's something really interesting, and that is one of Freddie's lowest notes ever. His vocal range has gone famous for being from an F2 to an F6. Right next to that F2, there's a G2 that he does in the first section of this song. So let's hear that. Somebody true. Now after that, when he says love, you can hear Freddie doing a very low voice. That is one of the lowest notes ever recorded by Freddie, even if weirdly enough he could go a little bit lower in his speaking voice. Now,
I think most people thought that I would be the first one to have a solo album, and then the band would, Queen would break up and all that, but...
Now, to really understand how hard this song is for singers, we have to mention the fact that even if it doesn't sound all that fast-paced as songs like Don't Stop Me Now, this is still a very, very fast song. When studying a song, great singers need to know exactly at what points they are going to breathe, otherwise they're just going to run out of breath. We will hear some of Freddie's breathing in this recording, which is really interesting, but this song is quick. It has very long phrases with no pauses in between, and when pauses do appear in the song, they're extremely short, which forces on the singer a skill of being able to breathe very quickly. But aside from breathing or running out of breath, this song is full of other challenges related to the voice, so let's get right into them.
Each morning I get up, I dial.
We start off with a great falsetto by Freddie and an opening line produced in a very breathy and vulnerable kind of tone, which fits absolutely perfectly the message that Freddie is trying to convey. That first phrase belongs into the exact same range from the opening line of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mama,
Moving on.
can barely stand on my feet.
That is the last time that we will hear this tone from Freddie in this song. He will sing notes that are in the exact same register, but he will approach them in a completely different manner. Of course, you cannot know for sure what mechanism Freddie was using to sing this just by listening to it, but it does sound a lot like what nowadays is called mixed voice or just simply head voice. He never did in live performances these notes in the same way he just did here, probably because of the volume of the technique being low, or maybe just trying to add more emotion into live performances. Freddie just belted out these notes.
Take a look in the mirror and cry.
Here we have switched to something that is a lot more comparable to the speaking voice.
But what you're doing to me, I have spent all my years in believing you.
Now, as the song progresses and the intensity rises, Freddie loses the tone that resembles the one of an intimate conversation and starts going into a more aggressive tone that conveys a lot of despair. This is where the subharmonics in his voice start to appear. Subharmonics add distortion into his voice. The effects subharmonics have on Freddie's voice can be perceived as shouting, but if you shouted these notes, it just couldn't sound good.
But I just can't get no relief, Lord.
When he says Lord, that is where these subharmonics are the most present, which is what makes the sound stop sounding clean and starting to sound a lot more like a passionate, aggressive sound. In that same phrase, when he says relief and Lord, he's also masterfully gliding through the passage of the voice, which is where most untrained voices would break into falsetto. That of course requires a lot of training and isn't done easily. So in only 30 seconds of singing, Freddie has produced so many different tones and colors to his voice already. And I would say this is one of the things that made him so amazing at conveying emotions. Every color or tone he added to his voice always fit perfectly with the message he was trying to communicate.
Somebody, ooh, somebody, can anybody find me?
In live performances, Freddie never did that note exactly like in this version, and he lowered it into a minor third. I don't know that much about music theory, I'm mostly into singing, but I think it's a minor third.
Somebody, somebody, anybody find me? Anybody find me? I work hard every day of my life. I work till I ache my bones at the end of the day.
I mean, we all know about the long phrase he sustains after this, when he says somebody to love and sustains it for like 8 seconds.
Somebody to love.
When he's sustaining that note, at the very end of it, he takes it up a little bit, even more. Now, that note where he takes it up is the exact same note he's about to do right here.
I take home my heart and play all.
There we go, when he says all on my own. Let's hear it again without the backing vocals.
Play all on my own. I go down.
That's amazing and definitely a very overlooked part of the song because it is incredibly hard. For example, George Michael did an amazing rendition of this song and he nailed absolutely every note in the original key, yet he avoided this one I just told you about. That should maybe give you an interesting perspective on how hard it is. Freddie did tend to do that part on live performances and it sounded amazing. Now moving into the next section of the song, we're going to start paying a little bit of attention to the harmonies. The phrases they sing on those harmonies aren't always exactly the same words from the lead vocals, which adds a lot of depth into the song.
My knees and I start to pray till the tears run down from my eyes, Lord.
On this pink track right here is where we have the backing vocals.
I go down, my knees and I start to pray.
So Freddie says start to pray and the backing vocals said praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord. Start to pray. Down, my knees and I start to pray.
Now comes one of the parts everyone was probably expecting.
Somebody, ooh, somebody, can anybody find me? Somebody to love.
Chills. Telling you about of the breathing, we can hear it here as Freddie finishes to sing that phrase. I really like that in the final results of the song they left this part in which we can hear Freddie's breathing after sustaining that very long difficult note, and he has to breathe so deeply and quickly to get to the next phrase. It just shows how much emotion and passion he poured into his singing even when on the studio.
Every day I tried, but everybody wants to put me down.
When he says everybody, that is also a crazy high note, and Freddie often avoided it as well on live performances, but he did do it a couple of times and it sounded amazing.
He was hard every day, trying.
After the guitar solo comes one of the hardest parts of the song. Yes, it gets harder. Freddie's going to make a C5, so a tenor C5 or a high C, which is, for example, the highest note of the lead vocals on Bohemian Rhapsody. He does that C5 on the rock section.
So you think you can love me and leave me to die?
He's going to do it exactly here as well. Let's take a listen.
Somebody find me, somebody to love.
Now he's going to go even higher on his falsetto because why not, am I right?
Got no feel, I got no rhythm, I just keep losing my beat.
Here the harmonies are also incredibly different from the lead vocals. Look at what they are singing.
You just keep losing and losing.
While Freddie on that same part says,
Keep losing my beat. Gotta get out of this prison cell. Someday I'm gonna be free.
that is incredible.
Find me, find.
It's very similar to the vocal improvisations he did before playing Somebody to Love on live performances.
Ooh, find me somebody to love.
Like he's just playing around with his voice. See? That's amazing. And here comes one of the highest falsettos of the whole song. The control required to make that phrase and making it go from the falsetto to chest voice, passing through all of those notes, is just amazing.
Find me.
And that's an amazing, nice little last touch there. It sounds almost like he's crying. Now, as far as the whole Roger's falsetto or Brian's guitar thing goes, there's not a lot of ways of telling. For me, it's Roger, and if we analyze the multitrack, that singing phrase, which is this one, that note, when he says yeah, or something like that, a lot of people thought it was Brian's guitar, because definitely Roger's falsetto sounds like a guitar. We really can't tell for sure, but analyzing the multitrack, we can see that that section isn't included on Brian's guitar, which at that point isn't playing, as you can see here. Instead, it is included on the backing vocals track. This could mean it's Roger, but we still can't be 100% certain about this, because mostly back in that day, where the amount of tracks were limited for recording, sometimes a lot of different instruments got mashed up all together into one same track. But in this case, I don't think that's the case, and this is Roger's voice for me. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and subscribe for more. Love you.